Human raises abandoned alien predator cub. That was the Empress's. The first time Kalen heard the sound, he thought it was the wind carving its lonely song to the canyons of Zitharus IV. He was a salvager by trade, wandering the desolate outposts of forgotten colonies, scraping a living from the bones of dead worlds. The frontier had no mercy, and Kalen had long since learned not to go looking for trouble. But the sound came again, a thin, pitiful cry, raw with hunger. It was no wind. Kalen stopped, visor polarized against the white glare of twin suns. He was picking through the wreckage of an abandoned survey station, its spires broken, its consoles cold. The cry came from within a collapsed chamber, half buried beneath twisted alloy. Instinct said to move on. Predators on Zitharus were fast, strong, and most of all, clever. Yet something in that cry pulled him forward. With careful hands, he shifted the rubble aside. His breath caught. Nestled in the debris, swaddled in a shredded thermal blanket, was a creature unlike any he'd seen alive, though he recognized it from warning charts. A Zitharan Rexan, a predator feared across 3 sectors, bred only within the Imperial Palace itself. Its scales shimmered like liquid silver, eyes too large for its head, pupils slitted and fierce even in infancy. It was small, no larger than a human infant. But Kalen knew it would grow into a beast capable of ripping armored men in half. Yet here it was, mewling, starving, alone. His mind screamed at him to back away, to seal the chamber, to forget he ever found it. But then the cub stretched out one trembling claw, barely grazing the armor glove on his hand. The touch was not an attack. It was a plea. Kalen cursed under his breath. He had lost everything. His post as a medic in the Earth Fleet, his partner to the plague on Rhine, his family long before that. He had no one, nothing but his ship and his stubborn will to keep breathing. Perhaps that was why he lifted the creature into his arms. "Fine," he muttered, cradling it against his chest. "But if you eat me in my sleep, I'll haunt you." The beginning of a dangerous bond. Caring for the cub was a battle of attrition. It refused ration paste, nearly starved until Kalen hunted down a wild Avic herd and discovered it would drink their nutrient-rich blood. He built a makeshift feeding harness, sterilizing tubes through his medical kit. Every feeding left him more exhausted. Yet every day the cub grew stronger. It learned to walk in staggering lunges across the hold of his salvaged ship, knocking over crates with a triumphant hiss. Its eyes tracked him constantly. At night it curled near the ship's thermal vent, purring in low vibrations that rattled the floor plates. Kalen named it Shade, because it followed him everywhere like one. Weeks turned to months. The cub's scales darkened, shifting from silver to an iridescent black that shimmered under shiplight. Its fangs lengthened, claws sharpened, its hunting instincts sharpening faster than Kalen could adapt. But it never turned those claws on him. Shade's gaze, feral, predatory, softened when fixed on Kalen. Against every law of nature, the bond between them deepened. Whispers of the Empire. It was only when Kalen stopped at an outpost on the trade routes that he learned the truth. A holocast blared in the common hall. Imperial banners draped across every screen. The Empress of Zitharus mourns the loss of her sacred Rexan cub. Vanished in the attack on the survey station 6 months past. The cub was air-bonded, destined to serve as her protector and symbol of the throne. The Empress vows vengeance upon those who dared steal what was hers. Kalen froze, drink halfway to his lips. Around him, traitors whispered in awe. To steal an Imperial Rexan was a crime punishable by annihilation. Armies had been raised for less. His mind replayed that day in the ruins. The blanket, the makeshift cradle. Someone had hidden the cub there, desperately, perhaps hoping to smuggle it out. But no one had returned. No one but him. Shade, the Empress's cub. Kalen left the outpost before dawn. He could not abandon Shade now. Not after it had come to trust him. Not after he kept it alive. Yet the Empire would scour every system for them. He knew that his quiet salvage life was gone. Growing shadows. Shade grew too fast for cramped ship. At 1 year, it stood as tall as Kalen's chest, wings unfurling in stunted bursts that battered bulkheads. Its intelligence was frightening, understanding hand signals, solving locks, even mimicking Kalen's speech in rough, guttural syllables. Kale, it would rasp, nudging him awake. Yes, Shade, he would answer, half amused, half unsettled. Despite its ferocity, Shade guarded him with a loyalty deeper than any bond Kalen had ever known. Once, When raiders boarded his vessel, Shade tore through them with savage precision. The hold ran red, and Kalen, though horrified, realized they had both crossed a threshold. Neither of them could return to ordinary life. But danger was closing in. Imperial patrols grew frequent. Kalen heard rumors of bounty hunters, humans, Xenos, machines, all chasing a reward for the stolen cub. Shade was no longer a secret. The betrayal. Kalen found uneasy shelter on a fringe colony, hoping to barter repairs. But the governor recognized Shade immediately. His false smile cracked when Kalen turned to leave. They came for him at night, mercenaries with shock rifles and nets. Shade fought like a storm, but the tranquilizers were tailored for its species. The cub staggered, roared, collapsed at Kalen's feet. "Don't hurt him," Kalen shouted. But they struck him down, shackled him, dragged them both onto a transport. When Kalen woke, they were in orbit above the imperial capital. Towers of obsidian pierced the clouds, and at their heart rose the palace, vast spired, alive with crimson banners. Kalen's blood ran cold. They had delivered him to the one person who had the power to kill him slowly or erase him utterly, the Empress herself. Audience with the Empress. The throne chamber was vast, every surface gleaming with black stone and molten light. At its center sat the Empress, draped in living armor that shifted like flame. Her gaze was a blade, her presence suffocating. Shade stirred weakly in chains, growling low. Kalen struggled against his bonds. "You," the Empress said, her voice silken steel. "The human thief who dares cradle what is mine." Kalen met her gaze. "I didn't steal him. I found him abandoned. I kept him alive when no one else would." The Empress descended from the dais, eyes narrowing. She knelt before Shade, brushing claws across its muzzle. Shade hissed, but leaned back toward Kalen, straining against chains. "You speak truth," she murmured. "He does not fear you. He is bonded." There was shock, no fury, beneath her calm tone. Rexons bonded for life with a single soul. They were not meant to choose outsiders. "You stole not just his body," the Empress whispered. "You stole his heart." Kalen's chest tightened. "Then kill me, but don't hurt him." The Empress studied him for a long, unbearable silence. Then, to his shock, she laughed. "A dangerous bargain." "You intrigue me, human," she said. "No creature, beast or man, has ever defied the throne as he has. To sever this bond would kill him. To kill you would break him. I will not waste what fate has woven." She turned, cloak flowing. "You will stay in my palace. You will raise him under my watch. Fail me and you both perish." Kalen should have felt relief. Instead, he felt the tightening of a new kind of chain. Life in the palace was unlike anything he knew. Every corridor whispered with politics and danger. Shade grew larger still, wings broad enough to shatter doors, intelligence now rivaling scholars. Courtiers feared him, but the Empress watched with fascination, testing the bond between cub and human. Kalen trained him, taught him restraint, fought against his killing instincts. And in return, Shade became his shield, his companion, his family. But Kalen knew they were prisoners. The Empress's interest was not mercy. It was calculation. Shade was still hers, by right, by bloodline, by throne. The test of loyalty. The truth came one night, when rebellion struck the capital. An assassin's guild breached the palace, cutting down guards, storming the throne room itself. Kalen fought with nothing but a salvager's blade, back to Shade's flank. The cub, no longer a cub but a predator in full, tore through assassins, wings spread wide, eyes burning. When the Empress herself was cornered, Kalen did what instinct demanded. He shielded her with his own body, taking the blade meant for her heart. Shade's roar shook the palace walls as it ripped the assassin to ribbons. Kalen fell, bleeding, the world dimming. He felt Shade press close, warm searing, a desperate sound tearing from his throat. Then darkness. The Empress's judgment. When Kalen awoke, he lay in silken chambers, wounds sealed by imperial healers. Shade was curled beside him, massive now, protective even in sleep. The Empress stood at the window, her gaze unreadable. "You should hate me," she said softly, "yet you bled protect me." "Why?" Kalen swallowed, voice rough. "Because Shade would have broken if you died, and I couldn't let him suffer that." The Empress turned, eyes softer than he had ever seen. "You have become part of him, and perhaps he part of you." The throne cannot deny what blood has already chosen. She approached, laying a clawed hand on his shoulder. You will remain by his side, not as prisoner, not as servant, as guardian, as kin. For the first time, Kalen saw no cruelty in her gaze, only recognition. Ending, the bond that changed an empire. Years passed. Shade grew into his full glory, a predator of legend, wings spanning half the throne hall, eyes gleaming like twin suns. But where once he would have been a weapon of the throne, he was now more, a bridge between human and empire, between beast and sovereign. Kalen walked to his side, no longer a wanderer, no longer alone. He had raised a predator feared across the stars. Yet what he truly raised was hope, that bond to defy borders, bloodlines, even empires. And though whispers still circled, the human who stole the Empress's cub, the predator who chose love over throne, none dared challenge what they become. For in the heart of the empire, where power was measured in fear, there lived a man and a beast bound by something far stronger. Not chains, not blood, but trust. And trust, Kalen knew, could change the fate of worlds.